It's a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld Today. I'm B-Ron and returning to the co-host seat is Yells. Good morning, man. Good morning.
Good to be
How
back,
you doing?
man. It was a sad day for me. My day just wasn't the same without starting the morning with you, B. Ron.
Oh, well, thank you,
Y'all can
man.
say whatever. I already know the comments. We got some big time kids. They're gonna say something crazy about that. Here's what it is, man. Love's love. Love your brothers. Love your family. Love the people that you spend time with. Needed to see B.
Yeah,
Ron this morning. I'm good.
absolutely, absolutely. It's good to be back here with you as well. Thank you much for filling out for Yells while he was away, but he's back. We're back, and let's get right into it, shall we? Kevon Jackson, the dunk god himself, has found a new home in Cascadia this season, leaving the reigning Trays and Jafet Towns behind to join the crosstown rivals in Cascadia. They have a lot of talent over there, a lot of new faces over there as well. Daniel Irvin comes to mind. Daniel Irvin, it's an Irwin, I'm sorry. Daniel Irvin, Tyshawn McGrady, Jetson Halliday III, Tyree
Tyree
Wells.
Wells.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of new faces and a lot of old faces returning there, but with Kevon joining that team, can he kind of get himself out of that shadow of Javette Towns and prove that he's better off without Towns? Or is this going to be a case of where either some of the returning players to Cascadia or some of the new players to Cascadia come in and take away some of his potential shine a little bit?
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna say, obviously, I'm looking for Kayvon to do great things. We all love. He's super exciting on the court. I mean, his athleticism, and once he gets at the rim, like he's punishing the rim and whoever's in front of it. That's
Yep.
really what's his name, the dunk god,
The
and
dunk
that's
god.
what he's doing, and that's what we're loving to see. All that aside, though. I think there were times last season playing with Jafet Towns, and this is the thing with young kids as they're developing and trying to showcase their game is we're still figuring out what they can do, but you know who else is? They are. So everyone's watching that. I think at points last time, I think Kayvon Jackson did a lot of the ball handling to see if Jafet could play off ball, and then Jafet ended up being the dominating all encompassing everything that we saw from him
Yeah,
last
right.
season. And Kevon Johnson kind of fell to the wayside, and one could say, we need to get the ball in his hands more. He needs to be on the squad. Maybe that's why he went to Cascadia. Put the ball in his hands more and see what he produces. I say that to say we still don't know. Is he a facilitator? Is he a slasher? Is he a guy that needs the ball? Because in my opinion, what I've seen is he gets the ball on the move, or if he can make a hard cut to the rim. Everybody shouldn't be handling the ball like that. Everyone, that's not their game. Early Vince Carter, people like to talk about Vince Carter. Early Carter was not handling the ball a whole lot, not a ton. He developed better handles, and he would go one-on-one and get his ISO or get it on the elbow, but it was coming off an alley-oop, a hard cut, a switch, a back screen, and no one could jump with him. Right, so he was put in the best position for what his skill set was. So Kevon, I'm not sure what his role is, so I guess it's really depending on what Coach Pope is going to do, what position he puts him in. I see Daniel Irvin, who can handle the rock and go get his own shot. Tyshawn McGrady last season for Cascadia, he clearly was a bucket getter that did not get all the opportunity. And we don't know what kind of opportunity he's going to get this year. And Tyree Wells, one of the most heralded prospects we've had in this short SimWorld prep world. That's three people I can see right there that could take a little bit of the load off of Kevon Jackson, but also they could take a little bit of the shine if he's relegated to a more of a slashing role. But it really just depends on if he embraces the role or not. You know what I mean? I look up and down Jetson Holiday as well, and Jason Holbrook I think is going to be a dog. I think he's going to be one of the players that you have to give the ball to and let him work in the post. So if Kevon's willing to come off that down screen, off of plays and say, I don't need to have the ball in my hand, I need to just dunk on someone's head. I think he's still going to get those highlights. That's what college scouts are looking for. They look for the big plays, people that are fitting into a role. But who knows? Maybe he's a point guard at heart, and we just haven't seen it. I don't know, man.
Yeah, so you'll probably hear me say something like this similar again later on in the show. But is this really a bad thing? I say that because you mentioned all the players that are here now, and again I mentioned the players that are returning. So if Jackson can come in and find himself a role on this team as, like you said, being in that, dunk god mentality and getting those highlight flashy plays and that kind of thing. Is it really such a bad thing? I think that I think people sometimes get too caught up in wanting certain players to be the everything for a team and that kind of thing, when reality is not everybody is that player. And I'm not saying that Kevon can't get to that point of being, Mr. Everything for a team, but right now, is that really a bad thing for him to be in that role and for him to for some of these new players to come in and take some of that quote unquote shine away from him? I don't think that they'll be doing that if Jackson does the things that he's been known to do.
Finishing at the rim. Hey, so, he's the number 16 composite ranking in the whole country. Like, so apparently that's getting it done, right?
Yeah. So I think it's a bit disingenuous to say that to insinuate rather that some of the new players will come in and take some of the shine off of him because he won't be averaging, 20 points a game and that kind of thing.
Right. I agree. Look, B-Ron, I haven't been on my soapbox in a while. I'm going to climb up there real quick and then jump back off of it. That's part of this flex culture we live in now, right? You talk about all this stuff, and the problem is, you go to the hood or you go wherever, and it's you got to have this or this guy's got to be that, or when you talk about best rappers or best players, who's the one? It doesn't matter who the one is, because one is one in a quadrillion, trillion, billion. Like that, like really do we have to say that Kendrick Lamar is better than J. Cole, is better than whoever your favorite rapper is that didn't make it big in your local area that's probably better than all of them? Can't they all be great? Yeah, but when we get into that flex culture of who has to be the number one, then that means nobody else matters. And I just think it's for TV purposes, a load of malarkey. I mean, Kevon Jackson, he's a great player. And as you're saying, just because somebody else is coming in and doing great does not mean that he's not the guy. I don't think you have to go by numbers. You go by contributions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and real quick, Jafet Towns, 21.4 points last season with reigning trays. Kevon Jackson last season, 13.7, may as well say 14 points per game last season. If he can do that again this season, I don't see that being a problem.
Look at that. Hold on. Well, I'm sorry, B-Ron.
I don't think he needs to average 20, 21, 22 points.
Say that again, B-Ron, for the kids in the back. What did Kevon Jackson, the number 16 composite ranked kid in the country, how many points did he average?
13.7. May as well say 14 points per game.
14 points a game. So apparently the scouts see the talent. He did not have to do everything, and it's prep ball. All of the offense didn't have to flow through him. His 14 points a game and what he contributed was enough for scouts to say, "Hey, he's number 16 in the country, in the world. Excuse me, in the world." And we're looking at him for some college looks.
Right.
Great information there, B-Ron.
Exactly. Hey, you got it. Happy to help, man.
Excelente. Look, we'll keep it moving. Well, let's get off K-Jax for a minute and let's enter Tyson Simpson. Is that what we want to talk about here? Tyson Simpson, SimWorld Atlantis. Coach Kusa heading back to the hometown. Quiet as kept, slow under the radar. No one really had a lot to say about Coach Kusa, but he quietly gets the job done. Tyson Simpson was part of the North 2 seasons ago. Didn't get the ball coming his way the way that he thought he should. He made an exodus from old Canada, and made his way to St. Louis to much to people's chagrin and shock and awe. Like, why the hell would he go there? He got off to a little bit of a rough start for a moment. While Coach Kusa figured some things out. And then...
what did he get going?
He got Tyson Simpson going. 20 points a game. Yeah, and I don't want to put this all on Coach K, but Coach K gave him the opportunity. Is where we're going to for the sake of this story. He put him in the position that he had not been seen in yet in SimWorld. 20 points a game, almost 10 rebounds a game, 3.5 blocks a game, and 67% in dominating. I mean, absolutely dominating. So the question is, there's a guy on that team at SimWorld Atlantis, a kid by the name of Keontae Smith. Offensively, Not as much as we've seen for Tyson Simpson, but then again, maybe we just haven't seen it yet. But defensively, this kid, he was snatching down 2.9 blocks a game last season and 8 rebounds. Could he be Tyson Simpson light 2.0?
So when I see that 2.0 thing, I think of an upgrade. So for the sake of that, no, but. But I do think that he does some things that Tyson Simpson did very well for Beyond the Arc last season that I think that Smith will do for Atlanta this season. And one of those things you mentioned it earlier is grabbing rebounds. Did that very well for that team last season. So I think that in that regard, yeah. I don't know about the offensive side of it yet, just because, like you said, maybe we haven't seen it yet. So I'm a little bit gun shy on saying, yeah, we'll see this is because I just don't know. I haven't seen it previously, so I don't know. But I do think that he'll be fine, and he needs to just play within himself. I think that's the biggest thing for anybody, really. Don't try to live up to other expectations of you. And
we put the expectation on him right now. Look, it's hit SimWorld today. The expectations there.
We're just talking about it, man. I'm gonna say no, though. I'm gonna say no. You don't have to. So, listen to me or don't. But hey, I'm gonna say he won't be a 2.0 Tyson Simpson.
No, I agree. I don't think that's in him. But defensively, I think he can have the same kind of impact. Yeah. I don't think the intimidation factor is there. You went up against Tyson Simpson. You were worried about that big body all over the court doing whatever it was he was going to do. Keontae Smith, not as imposing. Like, I don't think players are necessarily like, oh man, we're going against Tyson Simpson. But I do think Keontae Smith. But I do think coaches are well aware, and they're like, hey, we got to, we're going to have to find some ways to stay away from him on the defensive end, and we got to find a way to put a body on him on the glass because he's getting it done. I mean, he was an anchor. We talk about nothing more than like Blaine Kidd and Theophilus Hilton for Atlantis last season. And for good reason. Blaine Kidd came in, got the lone triple-double. I mean, still. But Smith was the anchor. He was an absolute anchor for that team when they needed stops, when they needed boards. Those are things that anchor.
You make the big plays and big spots last season for that team.
Those are things that get
closing out games and that kind of stuff. They were a scrappy team last season. Go ahead, Joe.
They get you possessions. That's what coaches talk about, and everyone always forgets. Coaches are saying, hey, you have to get secure possessions. You secure possessions by grabbing rebounds and getting defensive stops. And he did that consistently. He committed, leaned all the way into it, said, I'll get a couple pick and roll dunks here and there, but my money is earned on the defensive end and on the glass. And I mean, what did he play? Looks like he played around 20. And he did that in all of 23 minutes a game. 8 boards, 3 blocks. So I think he'll be right there. I don't think he's Tyson Simpson at all, but I think he has a major impact for anybody that's not knowing how big of an impact he actually has on a game. I think whatever that impact is, that those around the league are aware of, and those of us who are really watching that kind of stuff, we already know. But I think that's going to be elevated. I will say that with Coach Kusa at the helm, I think he really gets the most out of a big man, out of players. Period.
Coach both, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this is a topic that I feel kind of strongly about. I'm gonna take this one first. Do athletes today lack that killer instinct due to being too friendly with each other? We hear about it all the time. These new athletes today are, no one hates each other anymore. No one is, I don't understand where this comes from, personally, because I feel like you can still be friendly with somebody, but you can still want to go at them. Like you're all athletes at the end of the day, and you're all trying to. If the point of the game is to win, you're gonna do what you can to win the game. If it means joining your friends to win, sure. But other times you have to go in the other direction and say, nah, I'm gonna beat you, and I'm gonna do what I can to beat you. So I don't feel like the athletes today lack that killer instinct. I think it's different in how it's presented, if that makes sense. You talk about, you know, the guys like Kobe and Jordan who, you know, make up scenarios or use little things to fuel them and that kind of stuff. And I think there, you know, athletes today still do that. But I don't think that it's as big a deal as everybody makes it out to be. Personally, I don't.
It's a big deal for me. It's a big deal for me, B-Ron. I'm right there with everybody else that says that. I firmly believe that there's not enough. Just like, here's the thing. I saw it was a tweet or whatever you want to call it, where Kevin Durant said, "Hey, for all you non-athletes, if you're not aware, friends compete harder against each other than they do most people. If you guys didn't know that." And I thought that was a really interesting comment.
Yeah.
And I won't take anything away from the fact that that's true. But I say that I like to see the competition. I like to see somebody angry. I don't like all the. Here's probably another soapbox moment, man. Here's the thing, B-Ron. Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Before you get on your soapbox, you said it a minute ago. You know, friends compete harder against, you know, the people that are familiar with that kind of stuff. I think it comes from a place of, for me anyway, it comes from a place of wanting to prove that you, I don't want to say belong or can hang with those people, but you want to earn that respect from your friends. And the way you do that is by competing with your friends. You don't have to hate the person you're competing against to do that. You don't have to.
Agreed.
Go ahead.
No, you're totally right. You're totally right. I can't disagree with that. Perception is everything. I'm telling you, I learned that the hard way. And I learned it time and time again because I'm not a big believer in how things look outwardly. Like they just are what they are. You don't have to show it. It is what it is. But all that being said, like it has to feel like there's a rivalry there. If I see you look, we'll put it like this. Here's a perfect analogy. I'll use my boy, not my boy. I'm just joking. James Harden at this point in his career. At this point in his career and everything that's transpired, I think people are starting to see some stuff here. There's some different sides of the tape you can take with the whole Daryl Morey situation. All that, whatever. I won't get into it. Mm-hmm. The consensus on James Harden is that he does not care. And why is that? It's because he's at the club after a loss, because of his facial expression, because of how you hear him talk, all the perception things. In a circle, there could be a group of people that says, no one works harder than James Harden. No one cares more than him. But it don't look that way, right? It does not look that way. So when I look at some of these rivalries or some of these players being friends and all that, they may want nothing more than to take down their best friend. But on the court and then they're having friendship conversations right in our face, and you don't hear them saying anything like I'm gonna dog him out. Like it's too friendly. And then you just add to that
attention then because Tyrese and Trae Young have been going at it.
Well, I've enjoyed that.
As an example,
I've enjoyed that, but some of them aren't there. I mean, the general question is the killer instinct. A lot of it's not there. Is my opinion. And as much as these kids all hype themselves up, all it is hype. Like I don't ever hear anyone say I'm going at someone. All you hear them say is I'm the best. He's the best. They're the best. Oh, they didn't get opportunity. They're the best. They're great. I'm great. He's great. Oh wow, everyone's great. I was not aware that everyone was great. So, in stark contrast to what I just finished saying about the whole flex culture, and this is going to sound like I'm just talking out two sides of my neck where there can only be one. I would like for some people to say, no, let's put this person as being the place. I want that spot. I'm that guy. There needs to be more of that. It needs to be backed up with head-to-head matchup and someone having to say something after that. Because what happens is people the ones that do all the talking now, this is the new thing, and the ones that do all the talking ahead of a matchup, once the matchup goes down, guess where they go? If it doesn't work out in their favor, they turn into super lurker. They turn into the lurker of all lurkers. They disappear. They can't be found. They're not in the post game. They're not in the feed. They're not anywhere. Oh, yeah, I'll give it up. No, you had a lot of cash to say. Keep that going because you'll have another matchup. You'll see them again in similar play. Energy, right? Yeah, you're going to see them again in college, hopefully, if you get that opportunity. You're gonna see them in the pros. So all
Yeah.
that friendship stuff, the perception of it matters to me. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from with that. I see where you're coming from. But you know, look, we got a lot of new faces that have
Oh yes, we do.
you know, paperwork, that kind of stuff to get into some more prep, and there's things they still have to do to kind of get ready to go for next season. But you know,
You just made the list. I love it.
yeah. So we got a lot of new faces joining the league, that kind of stuff. Can we touch on that really quick before we get into this topic here?
For sure. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, like I said, new players coming and wanting to join Simba Prep, and you know they've gone through the process, and there's still things that they have to do to get ready for, you know, next season and that kind of thing. And the league has a thing where, hey, once rosters are final, you know, they're final.
Go figure. The league has a thing where rosters are finalized. I wonder if other leagues have things like that.
Yeah.
Do other leagues have stuff like that, B-Ron? Are rosters finalized? Oh my God.
Yeah, this isn't the NBA where, you know, where you are going to have players that are released and that kind of, and even then, like, it's not as frequent as something like, say, the NFL, where, you know, the cuts are happening fairly often because of getting injured, that kind of stuff. Doesn't have as much in basketball. Most times, those rosters are staying the same throughout the entire season.
Yeah, I don't know in college. I don't know if I've seen people coming on and off of the college rosters in basketball. Oh, I thought there was a final. I think you can go check the clipboard and see if you're on the team. I recall that. But hey,
Yeah.
all right.
All
that being said, we got some kids joining, excited to see what they're doing. They're going to be working hard during this season. I know they're going to be big-time fans following the product, having lots to say, being engaged. I already know that's going to be the case. But also putting in the work, right? And that's part of the work, is being active and knowing what's going on in the league so that you know who you're competing against. That's part of the work, and I know they're going to do it, and I'm excited to see these kids that have entered and will continue to enter to have their chance to showcase their talent in SimWorld Prep here the upcoming season. I'm sure we're going to start seeing some footage from their like pickup games. You know, people be out there with their phones on Facebook and all of that. So I'm excited for it.
See the story before you can become part of the story. Top 5 teams. The SimWorld Power Rankings are dropping this Friday, so we'll get to see that top 5 list. So, who's your list of top 5 teams heading into the season?
Easy. OGs. Okay. Philadelphia. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, this is
okay.
Beast of the East. Say what y'all want. I know. Oh, they have to be number one. It ain't the same team. They're not number one. Originators. Philadelphia. Beast of the East. I got Queen City Kings following that up, and then I have unfortunately I don't have I have to put Bay Area in there. Bay Area is number 5.
Okay. I like it. I like that list. I have in order: Beast of the East, the OGs, Breakers, Queen City, and Lone Star.
It's tough leaving Lone Star in my top 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I can count. That's fine. That's fine.
It hurts me not having Lone Star in mind because I really think they're up there, but I'm trying to figure out who I take out. I had Queen City at 5 and Lone Star at 4 at first when I saw them. But for honorable mention's sake, I have Philadelphia at 6 and Yacht Club at 7. So like those are the 2 teams that also were like in there for me, but I couldn't quite put them there yet. But I like what both those teams did in the offseason, get ready, and they're right there on the cusp. Yeah. And
I know what's going to happen, though. We're going to get to Friday, or you'll hear us talk about it, and it'll be, you know, y'all show you guys and, you know, all that stuff. So, hey, we're prepared for it for today, and then come Friday, we'll hear it all over again. So, hey, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
But speaking of that, that does it for our show today. Yells, thank you for coming back and being back with me this morning. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for coming.
We're a little long, but hey, producer, I see you. But look, my man's back, so we had to chop it up. Chop it up, right?
Hey, throw that guy Arnold Palmer. I hear he likes Arnold Palmer's. I think he'll be okay. Buy him off with a good Arnold Palmer in the morning.
Yeah. Hey, look, thank y'all for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time as always. Do us a favor, give the video a like. You're already here listening to it. You made it this far. Leave a like, comment, all that stuff on the YouTube channel and all that good stuff. And until tomorrow, you guys, where we'll have Dexter Jackson joining us from Southeast Select.
Oh, boy.
Remember, SimWorld is the only place where you can see the game, be the game. We'll see you on Tuesday.
This has been a presentation of SimWorld Sports.